preparing the call of the game in my normal pregame routine, and I had some teammates come talk to me about what was going on with loose information. It was very gray at the time, and then there was probably 20 minutes between that and their arrival, from when I heard about it, maybe 30, I don't know. And realistically, I wouldn't. I think it'd be improper. I don't really know all of the details of it, outside of the upsetting portions of worried about teammates and their well-being, and then I was really just happy with the way that our team came together when teammates were in need. I think that I was proud of other guys jumping in to try to help a teammate, and then all the support. Those are especially for some of the guys involved who, I don't think Calais Campbell's ever had, and Janu, they were all pretty rattled. So beyond that, that's what I know of the situation. That's probably all I can really shed light on and speak on until there's more information, really.
Mike, is there something you tell your team about maybe the emotions element as they prepare to play a game, of how to handle something like that?
Well, I think you try to prepare a team to handle the unknown. You definitely aren't forecasting exact situations. You just, a lot of things fall into the veil of adversity, and I think the one common denominator is there is a light at the end of the tunnel. In any sort of life adversity, but you're not necessarily prepared for that, but neither were our teammates that were in need, so we just do our best.
We're getting spotty details of what Tua said to the team at halftime. Were you witness to that?
Oh yeah, I was writing down plays on the whiteboard at the time. It was a cool moment because it was genuine and it was not anything but constructive. There was details that lead to execution in terms of how we are organized and communicate with who's in the huddle, how those players go from the huddle to the line of scrimmage, and just executing the nuances of our job that I guess at the time he definitely felt that there's several guys that were loose there. I couldn't deny that at all, and was really pumped to hear him constructively lead. It wasn't it wasn't let's win or let's make plays. It was let's adhere to our standard, which is what a captain and a franchise quarterback have to be, that voice to echo. So it was cool to have him beat me to the punch of something that if he wouldn't have said, I probably would have, very, very closely, holding all of us accountable. And I think that's it was a cool opportunity for him and his growth and what this team definitely needs, and he knew it.
What did you think of the long touchdown play from Tua to Tyreek?
Awesome. I thought it was great. And what's interesting is there's there is, like everything in sports, there's a backstory to it, but both of the biggest gains of the game were on something that this offseason we've really emphasized, and that was not number one in progression, that was number two in both situations. And to, it was something that we've put a bunch of work into to try to improve our offense, and for those big plays to come on something that it was absolutely on the front end of how we were going to get better. That it's you couldn't write the story better for the success that we did find within a lot of frustration and missed opportunities that we'll see on tape. Always giving the opponent credit for a good job, but we really felt like we had more out there, and for the team to come through and for those guys to come through on substantial points of emphasis, that's awesome.
In addition to the big plays, you guys made some smaller plays later in the game, some short yardage plays, Wilson picking some things up, Ingold picking short yardage situations. How did you feel about how the team executed to kind of keep those drives alive that way?
Well, I mean, I think I speak for all of us in short yardage. It's, it's not that exciting because we already converted because we're the best in the league in short yardage. No, I think that's it's the same thing. The same thing. When you find success in places that you put emphasis on, that's rewarding. I thought the guys are very aware, as well as the coaching staff. The whole team's very aware of the places that we've fallen short at, because we don't run from it. We try to focus on it in the off season, and for out the gate, game one, to find some success. It's always awesome to see guys be able to feel that, because it's been that important to them, important enough to get some better results.
Regarding special teams, obviously Jason Sanders had the game-winning kick. Jake Bailey flipped the field numerous times. Elijah Campbell had a fumble caused. What role did special teams play today?
Yeah, we don't win that game without him. And then, I think there was, and on top of that, I thought our special teams had a great game. And the one thing that would frustrate all of them, they got to find resiliency and make right on the last play of the game. I think there was, and to me, those are the most important factors, because, I think between special teams, defense and offense, that game, and nothing against our two previous teams, but that game we don't win the last 2 years. And that's because of the growth of the people that have been here for those 2 years, as well as the added influence from the new guys on our team. But I thought that we came into the season thinking that special teams could be a point of strength for us, and for that to happen game one, you love those games where all three phases are absolutely gigantic contributors to the ultimate outcome.
How much of a game changer did it feel like for the sideline moves going home and push that ball out?
That was probably, I'm not the greatest right after the game, because of the juggling of, a lot of times bad or good stuff I'm trying to move past to be present in the next play. But for my rough memory, I feel like that had to be the play of the game. You're talking about a gigantic flip in points and momentum. So it was really cool to see a guy when the opportunity came, he made his play, and the team desperately needed it.
Mike, what was your mindset on that last drive? Obviously, Jason missed the earlier kick. You seem content, 50-plus for that attempt. Why?
Because Jason's given me reason to. I think this being my third year, you're around. Kickers are the same as players. You're executing techniques and fundamentals in crunch time, and there's Jason's given me reason at the end of games to be extremely confident. And there's been several games that he's made multiple kicks. I go back to the 22 Jets game where he had all of our points. I go back to the Dallas Cowboys game last year. And there's many beyond that. But he, things happen, and but the bottom line is, can you count on people to own their fundamentals and technique in the moment of truth? And the previous kick gave me no reason to hesitate in that moment. I knew we had the game locked as long as we stayed. We kept the ball once we got that final first down.
Going back to the first drive, 4th and 8, the failed 4th down attempt. What went behind that decision? Was it more so analytics, or was it trusting the offense, trusting the defense to get it?
Yeah, it was more from an analytics standpoint. The being able to flip the field or pin an opponent that far in with a 4th and 8 or 4th and 7. It's something that I've done before. I think it was the same spot on the field as the Patriots, the first game I ever called before the half. And it was something that at the time that we felt good about the call. So you try to attack, and obviously we're wrong in that assessment. But fortunately, our team responded in multiple ways.
I want to ask you about the defense and that final stand to finish with David Long getting a stop for no gain and then 2 sacks. How clutch is that kind of performance from this defense?
It's everything. How about the whole second half? To keep an opponent, especially a talented one, like we were playing, to keep an opponent off the scoreboard for the second half and then finish it the way they, that was their vision for the whole game. Pretty much all 3 phases came in really confident, but very respectful and regarded the Jacksonville Jaguars. But felt very good about their ability to execute. And it didn't happen that way, or didn't happen in the vein of the vision early. So what do you do about that? Much like in the NFL season, what do you do when you get punched in the gut? These are things that are bigger points of emphasis for our team that we're able to really capture in game 1 and get a win. So for that, it's 1 week, it's 1 game, but it's also something that we talk about as a team, being able to win games like that, where everything doesn't go your way, starting from before the game to the end of it. How can we get, can there be galvanizers to bring a group together? Can you find moments of momentum to lean on? And can you play off each other making plays? I think, that not only was the defense shutting the opposition out for a half, but, it's very motivating for the other 2 phases, when one phase is capturing or finding their momentum and finding their niche together. So I think that affected everything, as well as the 10-point swing that we needed.
Coach, on the topic of defense, what did you think about defensive coordinator Anthony Weaver and how he guided the troops as the game went on?
Yeah, he is who I thought he was. He stayed consistent. Thought, those are we talked last night and again this morning, because Coach Weaver and I, we share the same philosophy on, what your job is as a coach, and really who ultimately makes the plays, but the players do. But then you go about your business and you try to hold yourself as a coach to a standard, and then you want to do right by the players so much that you have to remind yourself that there's no such thing as the perfect play. You didn't think that on the front end. It's a player driven result. So just put guys in their best positions. Don't overthink it. Be aggressive when you want to, but you're not playing out there. They are. So call the game with ease. I thought he captured that. It's a hard thing to do. People get nervous in NFL games, but he stayed himself and didn't, and that's what I was looking for.
How do you have a game in 4 days against maybe your biggest rival. How do you flush this that quickly? Because
it's probably the easiest flush that our team could have. Do you want to? Everybody knows that. Everybody's very prepared about what they're going to hear and expects to hear it as they should. And when you're, I think, 1-10 against somebody in your last 11, so they'll enjoy it, but they'll be rested, and it will be division games are always awesome and a lot of fun, and I'm sure this one will be as well.